Hey everybody, this is Chad Holker with Holker's Herps. Stay tuned for Herp Herparade, Saturday nights at 10.
It says here we should work in teams. I tend to think of myself as a one-man wolf pack.
You're about to enter information overload, a worldwide transmission with Herp Herparade's featured Breeder of the Week. Here's your host, Jason Rossi.
I would like to welcome you back to Herp Herparade, a weekly worldwide transmission. I'm your host, Jason Rossi. We are simulcasting on RossiReptiles.com, Buzzsprout, and don't forget to subscribe and download us on iTunes. This week's featured Breeder of the Week has produced quite a few outstanding combos this season, and we're glad to have them on the archives. Chad Holker from Holker's Herp is this week's special guest. Chad, welcome to Herp Herparade.
Hey Jason, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you taking time out, man. I know you're a busy gentleman, so thank you for coming out and talking with us.
I wouldn't miss it.
All right, so why don't you explain the Platy Gene to us?
I'm probably one of the few people that actually didn't get my Platy Gene from Ralph. I'm one of the lucky guys that actually had my gene just kind of pop up out of one of my normal females in 2010. So, I was very surprised. I took pictures of the clutch. I actually have had an 8-egg clutch from just a lesser. I was just dinking around with a lesser to a normal clutch. It was something I was just trying to hold back more lesser females or whatever, and I ended up popping out 4 or 2.2 Platies out of there, and I sent pictures to Ralph and put it on bp.net, and everybody pretty much confirmed it at the time that those were actually Platy Daddies instead of just, Ghost or whatever, it could have been in there at the time. But, yeah, I was totally stoked to have that, and then I made sure I keep pretty decent records on what female laid what clutch and whatever, so I knew exactly which female, gave me those Platies, and I was lucky enough to, I wasn't lucky enough because I didn't get her to go for me in 2011. She put on plenty of weight and was ready to go, and I put her to, I think, like a lesser B male at the time, and I was hoping to hit, the first Platy spider because Ralph hadn't done that quite yet, so picked up another. I really wanted to get farther into this Platy Gene because, the only thing I'd seen combo-wise from Platies for the last, 10 years or however long Ralph Davis has been working with them is I think he hit like a Pastel in 2010. So I really wanted to get bigger into these combos and do something else with them that nobody else was doing. So I picked up a Super Pastel lesser pen male, and I was able to get that plugged into that female for this past season, and I was able to hit the first Pastel Platinum Pinstripe, which is a Platy Blast. So I was super excited about that, and it's aging really, really well and coloring up really well. So I think, the Platy Gene has been, in my opinion, pretty stagnant over the past 10 years. And I think a lot of the attention or a lot of the interest was awesome when Ralph first started hatching these things. And as time went on, I think the lack of combos kind of kept, I think people's interest faded on it a little bit. And so, you'd see a platinum animal here and there, but nobody was really ranting and raving over them anymore until I think this Platy Blast I hit on sparked some interest a little bit more, and I really do like the gene. I like how it keeps a lot more contrast, and it does not completely fade it out and lack a pattern. It actually holds a lot of good strong pattern and good color still. Unlike I love crystals to death, but when you start adding Pastel and Super Pastel, you're looking at a real faded animal, and I'm definitely a big pattern guy. So I'm really, really interested in seeing some of these, nice light-colored animals with some strong pattern left.
So if I'm saving the siblings from my butter clutches, is that a chance that I might have that het Platy Gene?
Yeah, the butter lesser, the BEL side is only one half of it. It's what I understand, the way Ralph Davis explained it is the way I'm seeing it in my line as well, is that the normal gene, I shouldn't say normal gene because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that, say, het Platy gene is basically on the same allele as the lesser, butter, Mojave, phantom, whatever you want to put at it on that same complex. The Platy gene will attach itself to that and show you a two-gene visual, which would be your Platy daddy or butter daddy or whatever you have. And it has done the same thing. I think Jeff Lumen hit on the Mojave daddy a year or two ago. And if you see, look back on Ralph Davis's records several years ago, he hit on like a phantom one. He calls them phantom 44s. But the gene is not, it doesn't really lighten those animals as much. It really works best with like the lesser and butter complex. It's a lot more visual with those.
Yeah, my daughter was looking at the Platiator, and she's like, "Is that Ghost?" She's 10 years old, and
right.
I was like, "No, but
looks like a ghost." Yeah.
I was telling her about that, and why don't you tell us about that one?
What's that?
Why don't you tell us about the Platiator?
Oh yeah. That's I actually, I was when I hashed it. It's actually what it is. It's a Platy Daddy Lemon Blast. So it's got the Het Daddy gene, lesser, pastel, and pinstripe all in one animal. So when I was a lot of my local friends and my snake buddies, I was trying to think of a cool name for that combo, since it was the first time I ever produced something that was unique like that. And my buddy just threw out the Platiator out there, and it just stuck. I had to go with it. So yeah, I bred like I said earlier, I bred a super pastel lesser pin to my het Platy female, and so the lesser and the het Platy linked up with, the other two genes in there, and that's the combo there. So I have big plans for that stuff. I really there's not a whole lot of people working with Platies. I'm not sure where the interest level is on it, but I'm super interested in it, so I want to take it a lot farther and put a lot more genes in there and see what we're looking at.
What genes do you have planned to plug in there?
Well, what I really want to do is I have a nice pastel Platy male pretty much ready to breed now, or he will be ready real soon. So what I'd really like to do is make a lot more het combos, and that's really what's going to help, because there's het Platies out there. There's not a whole lot, but I've never seen many animals. I've been trying to keep up with Ralph Davis and what he's doing a little bit, but there's only a very small handful of, say, Inchy or Spider or pastel true het Platies, or you're looking, think about Bumblebee or Killer Bee or, Sting or any of those combos that are het Platy going back into your lesser combos. In my opinion, I think that's going to make some really, really cool stuff, especially seeing the combos that I've produced this year. I can't wait to make bigger and better things with it.
What else Platy did you create this year?
Just I produced 2 Pastel Platies, which those are really nice. It's very, very hard to photograph those and get accurate pictures to where they look like in person, like they look in the pictures. I'm a crappy photographer. Yeah, they're cool. And the thing that's different about them than the regular Platy is obviously just the contrast of them. That they have much more. It's like a real soft, buttery yellow, and then like that silvery background. It's really neat looking. They're definitely looking good with age.
Your granite pastels are pretty hot too, man. Is that guy, girl?
Yeah, this granite line, it's another story in itself. That super pastel lesser pin that I was telling you about, the one I actually hatched the Platiators with, it actually has another gene, which I found this year after breeding it. It's some type of really cool, it's a genetic granite line. I don't really even like calling it granite, because I finally tracked back this past year after hatching all these weird granity and stripy, really odd animals. I traced back the original animals to the original breeder, and he was producing a lot of that stuff, and he just called it granite, and he had that in his line from years ago, and hadn't really done a whole lot with it. He hatched a lot of combos, but he really never advertised that gene real well, and nothing wrong with that. But since I started hatching some bigger combos with it, some of the lesser and lesser pastel, all those combos, that gene really started showing some cool things. It was started to really stripe out the animals, lots of real weird blushing, kind of like fader type look to it. So I started posting a lot of these pictures up, and I'm getting a lot of attention from it. So I really want to push that into some more animals and some more projects and see where I can go with it.
So what are you thinking there? What gene with the granite?
Well, it's not a real obvious single gene. I mean, a guy, a friend of mine, Bob Pitt, he actually got animals from the same guy I got my what is it, the Super Emperor male. He got animals from the same guy. He got like a granite sin pin, and he produced some single gene animals out of it, which don't really look like your typical granite that you would see. They're almost like it's not a dark snake at all. It's kind of like it looks more of a highlighter gene. It's kind of a bright animal, a little bit of granity stuff going on, and just it looks more like a dinker than anything. It's not real impressive, but that's the gene that's making all these crazy animals that I'm producing this year with it. So, and I'm not done yet either. I still have quite a few clutches from that male, and I really like to see what else can link up with it. And just fun stuff when you start hatching these animals and you can't ask other breeders what it is. It's just something different.
So what's sitting in the incubator right now that you'd love to hit on?
Oh man, the sugar stuff I've been working on this year is just hands down my favorite thing to work with. It's always been something ever since I was seeing the Calico combos from 5-6 years ago. I had to get into the Calico stuff, and actually bought my first Calico, which I bought it from Jeremy Stone, and I found out that line that he was working with at the time was the ones from Tracy Barker, which is considered, at the time they were VPI sugars, and he was just calling them Calicos. So it wasn't a real impressive, high white, elaborate animal. It was kind of a darker, it was in shed when I bought it, so it wasn't, I didn't think I was getting the best of the time. I just thought I was getting a nice Calico. So once it shed out, it was just a weird, completely black-backed animal with, some orange highlighting all around. It was really neat. It didn't have a lot of white, but the white blotches were just big chunks of white down the sides. A strange animal, and it had, a real weird belly. So I started breeding that into pastels right away because I thought pastel calicos were just the coolest thing ever. And when I started hatching them, the pastel calicos were, really, really high expression. Nothing like I've seen, it wasn't even that long ago. This was like 2010, so there was quite a few of them out there at the time. They really stood out. And just posting pictures, and as they aged, I really saw a difference between your typical, flora fauna line pastel calico, and there's nice ones out there, but these were just really, really consistent. I think I produced like, maybe 8 to 10 pastel calicos out of this line I was using, and a whole lot, like lots of single gene stuff, and those really, really varied from high expression to low expression, high white, low white, whatever you want to call it. And so I was really amped about it, and I kept a good handful of them back and raised them up, and then 2011, I put it through some other combos. I made a really, really nice spider sugar with it, and that stood out to me. I took that, and I was looking at a lot of collider stuff, and it just was really, really clean, really, really bright, and real good, consistent white. It just wasn't the same grade that I was seeing with the other calico lines. And so this year, I really, I held back a male pastel sugar from 2010, bred that into all kinds of stuff. I really wanted to get, lesser Mojave, all kinds of other, I wanted to do as much as I could with this sugar line. So I hit on, just recently, I got a couple triples out of it. I got a pastel lesser sugar and a pastavi sugar out of it, and they really, really rock. They really stand out. And so I got in the incubator from him. I might hit on some super pastel sugars. I got a pewter bee clutch from a pastel sugar cooking, and a queen bee getting ready to lay. So my season's stretched pretty late, but to me, like I'm really excited about the queen bee to the pastel sugar clutch, because I don't know if you've seen some of like Ben Rennick's big calico combos with those things, but those are awesome.
Yeah, I have. They're definitely some gorgeous animals. Clean. It's amazing what that gene is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to work with stuff like that.
So you hit on some pumas too, right?
Yeah, I did. I've always liked super stripes and pumas, and then the highways are in and out. But super stripes have been out a while. I loved how visual sparks were, and even seeing like the pastel sparks and the pumas. I had to get into spark stuff last year, and was able to get my male up to size, and got a couple yellow belly clutches out of them, and I think I hit like 3 pumas this year. Really, really pretty animals. They're really hard to. Another animal that's really hard to photograph. They always look really, really pale and washed out in a lot of pictures until you see them in person. They're a really pretty snake.
How do they get when they get older? They like peachy color, don't they?
Well, I've seen pictures of some that were pretty pale. They were definitely still peachy. They still had a yellow stripe, but they almost looked like not quite as pale as an ivory, but they had definitely a lot of fading. So they're definitely the lightest ones out of that complex. But they're still to me. I like light-colored snakes, and that light-colored peachy snake is almost patternless with a stripe down its back. It was a really cool animal.
So what else did you create this season that's cool that we're missing, leaving out?
Oh boy, what have I produced this year? I've produced a good amount of just bread and butter stuff, but some of these I bred in the incubator hatch, and now I have a clutch from that super pastel lesser pin granite to a pastel, and I reproduced the original combo. So I have a little baby super emperor granite in the egg right now. I'm excited about that kind of stuff, and then just getting more combos with that granite line that I'm seeing is really, like this year, the sugar stuff and the granite stuff is really what I want to push more and see more of. I think there's a super pastel lesser granite in there that's really, really striped, and it's really, really neat.
They're looking like super stripes.
They kind of are. They kind of look like because the lesser genes in there too, they kind of have like a weird soul sucker look to them. I mean, if I could compare it to another combo, they're really looking that direction.
So what's the next gene that you're adding over at Holker's Herps?
Oh boy, I'm really big into chocolates. I don't have a lot of them, but I have a couple female chocolates that I'm raising up, and I have a super chocolate pastel female that's probably my favorite snake combo-wise. I'd love to get more into making combos of super chocolates. That's another gene I'd like to get a lot more involved into. I love hidden gene Woma stuff, Inferno stuff. I just picked up a nice male soul sucker to add into to make some new combos with, hopefully. And of course, everybody wants bananas and coral glows. Not quite ready to get into that project yet, but that's definitely something I'm gonna get into in my future.
It's on the list.
Oh yeah, I think that's on everybody's list, but that's not always
a little lower on the priority.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, so what's your favorite expo to attend?
Oh boy, I love Tinley. I actually flew out there the last year for the first time. I've heard so many stories about it, but I'm all the way on the East Coast, and it's a long trip. And I'm a smaller breeder, so I don't always have a huge amount of offspring to take across the country to sell at some of these shows. But I'm definitely going this year. I bought a table after visiting last year, and I don't think I want to miss that show again. And I love as much rumors as going on about Daytona and the laws that Fish and Wildlife are cracking down and it's not an easy show to do because of some of the rules in Florida right now, but it's so much fun. I don't want to miss any Daytona shows either. It's a lot of fun. The sales are real good. I still really enjoy doing that show as well, but I don't do a lot of I've not been to any West Coast shows or anything like that yet. I just do, mostly stay on the East Coast and do some of my smaller local shows. And but as far as the ones that I've been to, Tinley's absolutely awesome. Can't wait to go.
So what are some of the local shows around your way there?
Well, I live in Virginia Beach, so it's a more of a resort area. But regionally, there's a couple local shows popping up. There's a Hampton Road show. It's this weekend. It's actually tomorrow. And then there's a there's a show in Richmond, which is about 2 hours away. That's another small local show. But other than that, like there's not much in this area. You pretty much have to go. The Myrtle Beach shows is popping up. That's a real fun show to attend. That's not too far away. And then going up to the PA shows, Hamburg shows. That's another one that's not too bad to go to either. Other than that, you gotta travel a little ways to the better shows.
So what ones do you vend?
I vend Daytona, Tinley this year, Myrtle Beach, and I normally do Richmond if I have the time. It's not always easy doing expos all the time. I do work a full-time job, and I have a family now, and the shows are usually a lot of fun, and they're great to get to. I think everybody needs to go to vend a lot more shows, but I also do a lot more with Facebook. That it's a very, very easy way to get your animals out there and get your new projects put out there to where everybody can see them, meeting all the new vendors, even not just in your area, but you're looking at the countrywide and worldwide. I mean, you can get your animals out there all over Europe and Asia and everything and talk to all these people, and I really like using that network as a way to sell some of my animals. Out of the past couple of years, since Facebook's really been expanding, and especially as far as the herp world goes, it's everybody's been on King Snake and BLBC and all these reptile websites, but as far as the reason I like Facebook a lot more is that non-snake people are on there as well, people that your family members and friends that aren't really into reptiles. So that's another good way to educate the public, posting your animals up there and really explaining your side of things and what you do. It's another way to really help. It's really mainstream media if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I never really have, but you're right. So what are we hoping to see this coming season from Hulker's Herps?
Oh, boy.
Your season's so late now. When does the season start over there?
It is getting late. My most anticipated thing this year was producing a really cool Platy clutch. I only have one female that's an adult now. I have several raising up, but that was really what I wanted to hit on this year, and I'm happy I did. And now I'm seeing all these sugar combos I've been hitting on. I just want to really hit some bigger sugar combos and see what else I can get going with that. I don't have big high hopes for my hobby here. I'm more of a hobbyist and less of a business. So I'm really happy with some of these animals I've been producing. I never expected to get this far with it.
Yeah, man, you're well on your way. It's amazing to see what you've been doing. I seeing those pictures pop up on Facebook. Seeing those pictures pop up on Facebook, your jaw just drops, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Great work. So
I guess it's just, I would always just say to anybody that's smaller or bigger, be really picky with the animals you buy. I mean, with the markets, it's still awesome with ball pythons. I mean, you get a lot of people complaining about the price dropping and this and that, but that's just open it up to more people, and people can get better quality animals and make cooler stuff. So I really enjoy the industry, and I don't see the market going anywhere anytime soon with these things. You might not be able to make, your living on it. I mean, a lot of people do, but you're definitely going to be able to make good supplemental income, and you should still be able to really enjoy your hobby.
That's what it's about. So what is your take on all this legislation against us? What can we be doing?
Well, I mean, joining USARC and supporting those guys, I think, that's step one. But step two, I mean, for somebody on my level, I'm a small breeder. I don't have, things that like Brian Warchek's doing right now with snake bites, and really trying to push what we're doing in a positive way and getting our hobby exposed in a positive way to the mainstream media is the best way to do it. But even, like I was saying on Facebook, your smaller breeders, and just talking to your people at your normal job, talking to your family about it, getting them to sign the petitions, when the time is right for that, and just educating your local community and your neighbors and things like that. That's a huge thing. So a lot of people out there that are scared of snakes, and the general public could care less if our industry gets shut down or outlawed. But the more people you talk to and the more people you educate about it, hopefully, that's going to help us in the long run.
Strength in numbers, my friend.
Absolutely.
So is there anything you'd like to add in closing here?
Oh, boy. Well,
open floor.
Not a big, what's that?
Open floor.
Oh, man, I just hope everybody can enjoy what they're doing. Please be responsible with your animals, taking them out. I see a lot of people, I live at, a resort area, and I see a lot of people with their exotic animals down in public, and sometimes that can be viewed in a bad light. That's not helping us. People getting bit by their venomous snakes, just casting a negative light on our hobby. I think if we all keep educating people, keep doing good things with our animals, I think this industry can go on for a long time.
Well said. Well, thank you, Chad, again for taking your time out and coming on here for Parade.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Her Per Parade. Don't forget to subscribe and comment on iTunes. And always, we are streaming live on herperparade.buzzsprout.com and rossyreptiles.com. Remember, tell your friends about us. Her Per Parade, out.
Hey, this is Justin from Jacob Elker Reptiles, and you're listening to Her Per Parade.